Hello again, watch friends. Welcome back. Firstly, I hope you've had a great holiday. It's a great time of year, a chance to be with and closer to family and friends, and also a time to give and maybe receive some watch-related items that can be enjoyed and shared. Secondly, I want to wish you a very happy new year. I sincerely hope that the new year is as good, if not better, than 2017. But before we ring in the new year, I like to ring out 2017 by briefly describing the additions to my watch collection, how they fit into it, and what they mean to me. So what happened in 2017? Aside from attending 3 excellent rock concerts, are they still called that? Paul McCartney in Newark, New Jersey, Billy Joel in New York City at Madison Square Garden, and Ringo, who needs no last name, at the Morristown, New Jersey venue. There were a few watches that joined the collection. So, what were they? The Grand Seiko GMT, a sophisticated and stylish watch from a sophisticated and stylish lady. A 25th anniversary gift from my wife. And in about a week, it will be 26 years. I never had a GMT before, and I've already been a fan of Grand Seiko. I have the Grand Seiko Spring Drive Black Dial, which is really quite nice. So it seemed like a natural to go for another Grand Seiko when adding a GMT. I think what really sold me on this watch was the cream dial. This cream dial is just so luscious. Of course, the extremely high finishing quality of Grand Seiko adds to the wrist presence, and I did a full video on this SBGM 021 Grand Seiko GMT, and I put a link to it at the top of the screen. Speaking of unadulterated class, the Habring Felix is a real sleeper. I call it a stealth luxury watch because most people have never heard of Richard and Maria Habring, 2 Austrian watchmakers. Nor are many people aware that the Habrings have won 3 Grand Prix de Horlogerie competitions in a row. That's quite a feat, especially for a small up-and-coming brand. I described all of that and the watch in detail in a separate video I did earlier, link above. I was looking to up my game quality-wise and became aware of the Habrings by my friend Bill Sanders, who has his own YouTube site called Watch Art Sci and who has started a high horology Facebook group. Bill has the black dial version of the Felix, and I chose the white dial version as a significant milestone birthday gift to myself. Interestingly, I did not have a chance to fondle the Felix in person, but did do an online research on the brand, the watchmaker, and the in-house movement of the Felix. I still get a thrill when I wear the Felix, as most people have no idea that I'm wearing a high horology watch and probably one of the best value high horology watches to boot. My only self-doubt comes when I see Bill's black dial version of the Felix and wonder if maybe I should have gone black. So how can a watch help you decide not to get another watch? Well, the Ganot Ocean Rover helped me decide to not get a Rolex Submariner. The Ganot is that good. Even though I have a few divers at price points both above and below the Ganot, this piece is pure quality. It definitely satisfies the exceptional diver category for me. True, it's a homage, and the movement is an edit clone as best I can tell, but the execution is flawless. I really like the sliding adjustment on the clasp, dare I say just like the Sub. It has excellent lume, a quality case, and is extremely comfortable. Definitely a keeper in my collection. So after reading the reviews and seeing the details, I made the decision to buy this watch without first handling it. Something you generally don't want to do, but it seems that I did use this approach for both the Habring and this Ganot. In my video of the Rolex Explorer, I explained how I've never been a Rolex kind of guy and never even imagined myself owning one. In fact, I had a somewhat negative opinion of Rolex owners, but I decided to check out the brand at my local Rolex authorized dealer. I did this in part because I have a Tudor Black Bay Blue and like the quality of that piece very much. So I thought Rolex could only be better, if not at least as good as the Tudor. So that was my impetus to learn more. What I learned, both from talking with Rolex owners and seeing the watches in person, is that quality and robustness are Rolex's middle names. The models that appeal to me were the Explorer, latest version, or previous version with the shorter hands, or the past version in a smaller diameter case, the Milgauss, and the Submariner. I described my decision-making process in the video, but I am very happy to own and wear the Explorer. I realize that it is not high horology, but should be considered probably strong horology, and Rolex's attention to detail and slow, continuous improvement over the years are some of the reasons for the popularity of Rolex watches. I don't think I'll buy another Rolex, but I am certainly glad to have this piece, the latest Explorer, in my collection. As part of my 2017 mantra of higher quality watches, less number of watches, Jaeger-LeCoultre appealed to me as a brand with a pedigree, excellent in-house movements, which over the years have been used in other high-end watch brands as well, and a large variety of references to choose from. I definitely wanted the JLC in the collection, and what I ended up with, I think, is a super value proposition. This particular piece is the least expensive watch that JLC currently sells. When I first saw this sector dial master control, and actually the range of 3 watches in the 2017 SINN show, they looked very interesting. I had my eye on a master control date, and I was lucky over the summer to actually get a chance to see and handle the master control and the master control sector dial side by side. Although the regular master control is a beautiful example of a high-end watch, there's something special about the sector reference. Maybe it's the skeleton sword hands or the semi-retro overall look of the piece, but whatever the reason or reasons, it drew me in, and that was, as they say, that. The JLC Master Control Sector Dial is now a permanent part of the collection, and I enjoy its classiness every time I wear it. And although it's not a limited edition, I was told that the 3 models in the series, this date version, the world timer version, and the chronograph, taken together, have a limited production run for only 1 year of manufacture. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Seiko's 2 divisions, Deinai and Suwa Seikosha, competed with each other to produce the highest possible quality watch that they could. One division, Suwa, produced the Grand Seikos that we still know today. The other division, Deinai, produced the King Seiko models. Seiko management thought that by having 2 separate in-house organizations, each developing a high-end watch, the company was guaranteed to always have the best, or at least so they thought. I have a budding vintage Seiko collection. Warning, future video alert. And have always wanted a King Seiko for that sub-collection. I was fortunate to find this beauty, a 1969 high beat reference, beating at 36,000 beats per hour. The 4502-8000 has a beautiful smooth gray dial with a pillowcase style and stainless steel case. Deinai developed the 45KS to challenge in-house rival Suwa's Grand Seiko line for technical dominance, and it used Deinai's 4500 caliber hand-winding high-beat chronometer movement. This is the only King Seiko model to offer a 36,000 beats per hour movement. On the back of the 45 is the great King Seiko logo in an applied gold medallion. The watch is manual wind, which I actually often prefer to automatics because I think it allows more involvement with the watch. Spending less than a minute each morning winding the watch has become a much anticipated daily ritual. I also like the 38mm size, and the movement does hack. The watch is in such great condition. It's fun to wear and is a real conversation starter, even among non-watch enthusiasts. And it was the last of the hand-built King Seikos using highly reliable movements, and of course the last of the 36,000 beats per hour movements from Deinai. A cool watch from a cool company at a cool time. It's staying in the collection. In 1960, Seiko's Suwa division was tasked to develop the best watch it could possibly make at the time. The Grand Seiko chronometer caliber 5722 was introduced in 1964, the year Tokyo hosted the 18th Olympiad, and Seiko served as the event's official timer. Seiko entered the Grand Seiko into the Neuchâtel chronometer testing starting in 1964 and until the trials ended in 1968. The Neuchâtel Observatory rated and ranked the movements that it tested, making it possible to see which ones were most accurate. When Seiko first entered the international competition, it placed 144th, and within 3 years, it moved into the top 10. When the Neuchâtel testing stopped in 1968, Seiko was running for first place. Rumor has it that the testing ended so Neuchâtel could avoid declaring Seiko as the winner in the Swiss chronometer competition. This particular piece is from the Suwa Seikosha manufacturing division of Seiko. A Grand Seiko from 1967 with a manual winding movement and a classy silver dial with date. I needed a Grand Seiko for the vintage Seiko collection, and when I found this one, I knew it would be a welcome addition and a great companion for the King Seiko just mentioned above. This is one of the first Grand Seiko models, but not the first. On the back is the gold medallion showing Seiko and GS. Slightly earlier models had the Seiko Lion on the medallion, but I'm not complaining. The 57 GS movement is one of the best of the early Seikos. Some may call the dial plain, but the integration of the dial, the lugs, and case represent Seiko's Grand Seiko style as defined by designer Taro Tanaka. I think the 57 GS can be as dressy or as casual as need be. So those were the major additions in 2017. Who knows what, if any, watches will arrive in 2018. I did a video on what I thought my next watch would be, but since that video was made a couple months ago, I've had differing thoughts on what should or could be next. I think many, if not most, watch collectors and enthusiasts can relate to that feeling. It's best to not make any quick decisions and let those thoughts of future additions age a bit. You're likely to make a better choice for having waited. And I do see myself reevaluating the entire collection in 2018, seeing what pieces I can help find a new home in order to strengthen and focus the overall collection. So if I were to make a New Year's resolution, which I've always professed to never do, I would say that 2018 mantra would be quality, not quantity, for the watch collection, much as I strive to do in 2017. So let me ring in the new year with this vintage 1968 Bellmatic. As usual, thanks for watching, and I will see you next year.